What's cracking, everybody? New video, new day. I'm actually parked in front of my shop. Haven't even clocked in yet, but I decided I wanted to do a video. So the other day during my live, I had talked about the Two Samoans, right? And I mistakenly said they were both in Corcoran. As I tell the story, you're gonna see they weren't. But the reason why I'm telling you this story is because, you know, there's been a lot of channels, myself included. I've done several videos now on this whole 32 Mexicans from Southern California getting knocked out in a riot, and, you know, somebody bragging about it, and whether that's a possibility or not, you know. And so when I was thinking about it, I was like, what is an example that I can give about what happens when somebody is a physical threat like that? Okay. And I remembered these two Samoans. So I made this video yesterday, but in the video I put the Samoans' names in, and then I thought about it and I said, nah, that's not cool. You know, I'm not comfortable with that. So I'm going to retell it today as best as I can without putting their names in, but they know who they are. If they see this, they know who they are. So here we go. So I think a lot of you guys are aware of the Corcoran Wars in Corcoran Shoe, how the cops were setting people up and, you know, betting, and, you know, all the fighting and that was happening, and all the shootings that the cops were doing, and killing people. So there was this Samoan guy, right? And he's a Samoan, but he's also a Crip, right? But so he would go out to yard. He's a big boy, you know, he's a Samoan. And every time the raza from Southern California would rush him on the shoe yard, he was knocking dudes out. He was hurting people, you know. And you know, it's different back there because, you know, when you're on the main line, the equalizer is your knife. You know, it doesn't matter how big a guy is. If you know how to use a knife, you're going to break him down pretty quick. When you're in the shoe, it's harder to get your hands on steel. And so, you know, dudes were going at him with fists, maybe now and then a razor. But this individual was defending himself in a major way, and he was hurting people. And he, you know, it was known, like, you know, we got to get this guy. And so he got green lighted, you know, to where it was known where no matter where he goes, because of the damage he's done, he's going to get moved on. So any main line that he was going to hit from that point on, once his shoot term was done, he was going to get served, you know, because he had hurt people and became a physical threat. And but he was a smart individual, so he kept, you know, catching shoe terms and wind up getting transferred from Corcoran Shoe to Pelican Bay Shoe. Pelican Bay Shoe was headquarters for all the big organizations. And what he did was he landed in a spot, in a pod, where he was able to speak with a man that can fix what was going on with him. And what this Samoan did was he explained to that man, you know, look, I don't have any animosity towards your people. You know, I don't dislike your people. I was only defending myself as a man, and I'm just asking that, you know, is there a way that this can be, you know, rectified and this and that? And the man that he was speaking to respected his get down enough to where he said, you know what, you defended yourself like a man, and what you did is cool. You know what I mean? And the fact that you're asking for this, I'm gonna give it to you. And so word was put out, you know, leave that man alone, respect him, you know. And so he came out to Pelican Bay B Yard with us, and he was a really good dude, man. And we all liked him, and he was very humble and respectful and just a cool ass dude, man. Now, he had a cousin, and his cousin was in High Desert. He went to High Desert when High Desert opened. And so, you know, when you open a new joint, you got to open the new ad sag. When you open the new ad sag, all factions get thrown out there on that concrete yard together, and it's going to be war until enough either murders or shootings or stabbings happen that it brings too much heat to the joint, and then they'll go ahead and stop playing that game. Well, the Samoan that was in High Desert, we'll call him the High Desert Samoan, and the other one the Corcoran Samoan. The High Desert Samoan was doing the same thing. You know, when Raza from Southern California was coming out, he was hurting them. But the difference was the Corcoran one would defend himself and not disrespect anybody. The High Desert one was very disrespectful. He was hurting people. He was clowning, talking shit. He was hitting dudes once he had already dropped them, had them on the ground out. You know, he was brutalizing people. And you know, hey, they say all is fair in love and war, right? So, you know, he was doing what he felt, you know, he needed to do to an adversary that he disliked, apparently, right? And so he continued to do it. And like the Corcoran Samoan, the High Desert Samoan caught a green light over it because of what he had done and the way he had chose to do it. Now, the difference between the Corcoran and the High Desert Samoans was the High Desert one didn't go to Pelican Bay and speak to who he needed to speak to in order to fix it. He also never humbled himself and showed respect. You know, I guess he felt, you know, these dudes ain't nothing, you know, and we're going to get to that in a minute. So he winds up showing up on B facility in Pelican Bay with the Corcoran one. And he was given enough time to feel comfortable, given enough time to feel like bygones are going to be bygones. And then one day when he was jogging the track, two Raza from Southern California let him know what time it was. They hit that dude with some steel, took him to the ground, and stayed on him until they decided they were done. And what I'm getting at is this. When someone is going to pose a threat to any group, that group, I know I can't speak for Raza, Northern and Southern move the same as far as if you become that individual where you're known to have disrespected and hurt a lot of them, you're not going to be able to hit any yard with them because of the threat that you pose and because of the disrespect that you had exhibited. And so that's going back to this whole, you know. All right, let me try to finish this. There was a problem with the recording earlier. What I was getting at, it's already the end of the video. What I was getting at is, you know, this whole thing where, you know, people want to entertain, did this one individual knock out 30-something people or did he not? You know, like I've already said, we don't need to keep saying, had that happened, that would have been legend. You know, everybody in the state would have heard about it. Nobody would have had to ask. But not only that, Big U would have been a target. Anyone, not just Big U, anyone that could do that damage would have been a target on every single yard they go to. And not just a target like we got to keep an eye on them. No, a target of we need to whack him. We're going to whack him. We're going to whack his people if they get involved, but it's going to go down. You know what I mean? And so, you know, I've told you guys before, I give credit where credit's due. You know, people want to think like, oh, you know, these Mexicans can't take a L. And that's not the case. It's just rare that it happens in there. You know what I mean? And that's not bragging. There's nothing about prison that anybody should brag about. You know what I'm saying? Like, who the fuck? Those men in there don't want to be in there. They don't want to be having to fight those battles and fight those wars and keystring knives. And, you know, there's nothing like, what's more impressive is holding down your family out here, holding down a job, taking care of your loved ones, being a good father, being a good husband, you know, being a good son. Let's outdo each other in that shit. You know what I mean? But anyways, I was just trying to think of an example that I knew of, and that was it. You know, two men, both Samoans, who had put hands on people, and both got green lighted. One carried himself the right way and did what he had to do to get out of the situation. But everywhere he went, everyone always knew that's a dangerous dude. Keep an eye on him. But there was no green light on him. The one that was, he caught it. He caught a really, you know, he caught it bad, you know, and he didn't walk off that yard. I promise you that. And so that's it, man. I'm gonna keep this second half shorter, because now that it's more in the afternoon, it's hot in this car. And you guys stay safe, stay blessed. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, give it a like. If you're new to the channel or you've been around but haven't subscribed, subscribe, and let's grow the channel. With that, you guys take care. To other ones you love them.